Hi guys, Garage RC back with another video. So today's video we're going to be converting our k969 to take a mini Z body. So what I've got here in front of me is actually my k989 with the k969 body on it. The process is exactly the same. So if anyone notices the tyres, it's just because I've lost the footage that I filmed earlier of actually converting the car. So I've got some of the footage, but I'm going to talk you through it. So what the plan is to take a WL Toys k969 or k989 and change it so you can fit one of these shells on. Okay, now what you'll see further on in the video is that certain things get in the way when we try and fit the body. The body mounts we have to remove. The suspension mounts, as I found, won't fit most of the cars and you have to lower them. You have to remove this bumper. You don't need to remove the foam, but you can undo the screws here and here, and then loosen these screws here to undo the front bumper, which I've got footage of me doing later, and remove the rear body mount. Once you've done that, then you have to look at where the speed controller sits, whether you can move it back, turn it around, or whether you need to take it out of the case. Now, for the purpose of today's video, I managed to keep it in the case. You may notice I haven't got a gyro fitted at the moment on this car or on the one I change over to. The gyro is optional, so if you want to fit one, you can find a space for it quite easily, and we can bring that back in the next video that we do. So I'm going to quickly pop the shell off. So here you can see not only have we fitted a lovely Corvette zr1 shell, we've also got some DS Racing wheels, and these are GYRO Racing all-wheel drive wheels that we've got here. These I think are offset 0 and offset I think 2 at the back, maybe 1. Okay, as you can see they just about fit, but offset 0 front and rear would work fine, but definitely offset 0 at the front. Okay, so you can see this fits quite nicely now with no issues. So the things we had to do to get this to fit: first, obviously remove the body mounts. Those are easy to unscrew. Unscrew the bumper that we've got that comes with the car, the foam bumper, and loosen these 2 screws here so you can slide the foam bumper off. Put your body mount clip on for the Mini Z. Now obviously before you do that, you need to check to see if the body's going to be hitting these suspension struts. Now I'll show you now that it doesn't, but later on in the video, while I'm actually trying to do this, you'll see why it wouldn't work. So if you look in here, you can see how close the top of the suspension is to the body, and that's after I've lowered it. So that is why it wouldn't fit on a standard WL Toys k969 or k989. As we progress through the video, you'll see me lower the suspension mount. You'll have to trim some plastic out of the suspension so that it'll actually close further. If you just lower it, you'll find the shocks have got no movement in them, so you have to trim some plastic out. Again, I've managed to lose that footage, but if you have any questions, ask below, and I can always demonstrate, or I can send you over to Mr. Beaver's WL Toys k989 video about his budget drift car, and you can see him shorten the shocks on that video. Right guys, so with that, off we go, and we will start converting our car. So I'm going to take off one of the screws just for the time being, leave one on. Just so I can slide this back. Once I've decided what works, yeah, I think I'll just go as far back as we can go with it really. Yeah, I think that's pretty good there. We'll see if that does the job. We can always take the cover off the ESC if we need to. That's an option too. So yeah, I'm only leaving one screw in for now. That's my for ease of what I'm doing. Yep. Okay, right then. So what we've got here is a Corvette zr1 body, and we're going to try and see if this fits on. So why am I not using the body mount? I want to see if the suspension catches at the front. So we'll know in a second. I'm going to try and see if I can get this to lock in. And you can see already the wheels are too wide for the front, not the rear though. Okay, so we'll have to use a reduced offset from the front. And also I can feel that the suspension mount is catching. So this body's probably not the best for us to do as a first off. It will fit with a bit of modification, but we're not going to do that today. We'll save that for another day. So I'll try another body. So it seems for any of my shells to fit, we're going to have to lower the front shock towers. Okay, this isn't something I was planning on doing today, but we're going to do it anyway. So first things first, we're going to create a bit of distance so I can see what we're doing. I'm going to unscrew the shock tower. So what we need to do is lower the shock tower from here to here. That will give us the space at the top. We need to shorten the shocks so that it will fit in. That means you have to remove some plastic from here and here and remove the spaces, which I've already done. Okay, off we go. So let's get the shock tower off first. Now I'm going to do this kind of quick, but you can be a bit more careful. And when I did this originally years ago, I do remember having to do this many years ago. Sorry, 2 years ago when I had my first WL. Okay, so let's remove shocks. Right. So we need to move the shock tower down. Probably guessing to about there really. That's as low as I think I can go. So we're almost level with the top of the metal chassis. So I'm going to put a screw hole in the middle there. And then put 2 screw holes in there once I've actually got the shock towers level. So let's get that done. And then put 2 screw holes in there once I've actually got the shock towers level. So let's get that done. I have undone the screws from the speed controller, switched the speed controller around, and only attached 1 screw here so I can rotate the speed controller as needed to screw and unscrew the bits of the chassis that I need. Can you see that? So as you saw in that footage, I have now rotated the speed controller completely backwards. So the battery plugs in over this side here, rather than when the speed controller was completely flipped this way and the battery plugged in there. So I managed to keep the mounting points the same side for the battery and the motor, but I've completely flipped the speedo around and I've plugged the servo in at the back. You can fit a mini gyro here if you want to put a gyro in, but you're very limited for space. You can't put the Oniseki gyro on this car. I think it would hit the windscreen. So you can see it is a pretty close call. The other thing you needed to do to make this work, which I haven't shown in the earlier footage, is I had to trim one of the body mounts. I think that one there, you can see it's been trimmed, because otherwise it will hit the motor. As you can see, vertically there's not a lot of space between the side mount and the motor, so you may have to trim the plastic clip. Okay guys, so I'll leave you with some footage of the car drifting, but that's all for now. And if you like the video, please give me a like and subscribe to the channel. The next video will be about the GYRO Racing all-wheel drive GLA.